Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the H&H Sports Podcast. I'm Tanner Hicks, as always, joined by my co-host Jackson Huey. Welcome back to the pod, man. Today we're going to be talking about the NBA draft and just like our summer league reactions. It's fun to overreact in the offseason, right? So we're going to be talking about our reactions to the summer league and like how well these players have played just into the NBA game so far. I'm excited for this episode. Let's just jump straight into it. But first, before we start, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on post notifications. Because if you turn on post notifications, you'll be notified instantly once we drop a new episode. So make sure you have notifications on. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We're pretty much everywhere. Please follow us so you guys never miss an episode. So let's jump straight into the episode. The NBA draft. It was an interesting draft.
Very interesting.
Interesting, maybe an overstatement, but there wasn't many trades that happened in.
Yeah, I expected more.
There were rumors that the Kings may trade out of 4. There were rumors that the Blazers may trade their 7th overall pick to get someone alongside Dame. There was a lot of rumors going around in the NBA draft, but all in all, I think it was a good NBA draft. Viewing pleasure-wise, obviously we want to see more trades happen, to shake up the league, but I do think it was a good draft. I didn't think Jay Knivey would fall to 5, though. That's my first thing I want to talk about. Jay Knivey falling to 5 is probably the best possible outcome for the Pistons. They have pretty sure the worst record in basketball, and they get the tied for the best odds at the first pick, and they fall all the way to 5. The worst thing that could have happened to them. But they don't get any of the top 3 players, but they do end up with the 4th best player, in my opinion, in Jaden Ivey. Such a good pickup. It was a no-brainer, I'm pretty sure. Once they saw the Kings took Keegan Murray, everybody's saying that's such a bad pick at number 4, but I personally think it's a good pick. With Jaden Ivey on the board, I didn't think it was the right pick. But I don't think.
There were rumors that Jaden Ivey made it pretty clear he didn't want to be in Sacramento. So.
Yeah, but for the Kings, it's always best player available, and
right.
Maybe they did think Keegan Murray was better for them than Jaden Ivey, but the consensus was Jaden Ivey was number 4 after Paulo, Jabari, and Chet. So yeah, pretty much everybody thought that Jaden Ivey was better than Keegan Murray, but obviously the Kings thought that Keegan Murray would be better for them rather than Jaden Ivey. And obviously, like you said, Jaden Ivey made it pretty clear that he did not want to be in Sacramento, which nobody blames him for. But Jaden Ivey,
right,
5th overall pick for the Pistons, steal, absolute steal. The Pistons got a whip going on in that organization. We can also talk about who they took. Who they traded for at 13 with Jalen Duren. His slide stopped at 13. I thought it was preposterous for him to fall out of the top 10. We may be biased as Memphis fans.
Yeah.
Maybe biased as Memphis fans.
Seeing Jalen Duren in person several times, that's a grown man at 18 years old.
So he's 18 years old. We're both older than that guy. And he's a 6'10", 250 pounds. And he's an NBA athlete now, and it's crazy how good that guy is.
I've actually heard that the Pistons traded for him thinking he was going to be a project. They got a lot of talent at center.
I mean, Isaiah Stewart, that's pretty much all they have at center.
Well, they got Bagley.
Oh, they do have Bagley. I forgot about the Bagley piece that they had.
They have Bagley, and I think the Pistons really thought he was going to be a project piece, but now that they're seeing the summer league, I think they're starting to realize he's going to need minutes like sooner rather than later.
Oh, on that Pistons team, Jalen Duren will definitely get minutes. Probably off the bench to start out, obviously. But
obviously, yeah.
Jalen Duren, I thought he was a top 10 lock, in my opinion. I know that's crazy to say with the amount of talent that was in this draft, but I thought he was a lock for the top 10.
I thought he was either a Blazer or a Spur. That was my opinion.
I thought he was going to go to the Spurs. Jakob Poeltl's future in San Antonio is unclear with the the recent trade of DeJounte Murray. I thought the Spurs were probably going to trade him this offseason. Who knows? It maybe still might happen. But I thought he was going to the Spurs. I thought, Jalen Duren playing under Pop would have been amazing. But, it obviously didn't happen. He fell to the Hornets. The Hornets originally drafted Duren, and then,
I was actually excited to see him and Melo play together, but
I thought that would have been a great, pickup for the Hornets, but they trade him to
they traded him to New York, and then he got traded to Detroit. He got traded twice within like 5 minutes of being an NBA player.
Yeah, only God knows the details of that trade. That trade was wild. But yeah, the Hornets originally drafted Jalen Duren. I thought like in the moment, I thought that was a great pickup for New Orleans. I thought that was a great situation for Jalen to be in.
Charlotte,
but he gets,
New Orleans.
Just Charlotte, and he gets traded. And I was like, man, it looked like he was going to New York, and I was like, man, I feel bad for Jalen now that he's going to New York. But then he gets traded again to the Pistons, along with Kemba Walker. It's a great trade for the Pistons. Jalen Duren I think is such a good player. I'm obviously biased. We're obviously biased for Memphis fans.
I'm biased as well,
but watching him every game play at Memphis, he's just such a good player. He's such a good rim protector. He's a beast under the rim. He's just a great player, and I thought that was a great pickup for the Pistons.
I've never seen someone dominate at the collegiate level at 17 years old like that.
Yeah, he was a monster last season in college, to say the least. We can talk about the Magic taking Paolo at number 1. Up until an hour before the draft started, everybody thought that Jabari Smith was going first overall. He was widely considered the best player in the draft. And
it was still pretty likely Jabari was going first overall when the Magic pick was in.
It was, but reports came out pretty much an hour before the draft saying, "Oh, Paolo's their guy."
Well, see, I try not to pay attention to that because I like to be surprised,
Yeah, me too. But I thought it was weird, the Magic's motivation in doing that, because you had the first overall pick. Nobody's picking before you, so who cares if everybody knows who your guy is before an hour before the draft? Because if anything, you get more trade offers thinking, oh, Paolo's going to fall to us at 3 like the Rockets thought. Maybe you get a trade offer. Maybe you get an amazing trade offer at number 1 because everybody knows you're going to take Paolo. Maybe teams below you want Paolo, and they send you this monster trade package. I didn't think it was the right move by the Magic to just wait until an hour before the draft to reveal who they were going to take. Because nobody's taken before you, so who cares if somebody knows? It benefits you for other people knowing who you're going to take. So we can shift over to the NFL, talking about the Jags front office. The Jags GM raved about Trayvon Walker. He did not care that anybody knew that they were going to take Trayvon Walker. It was pretty much set in stone.
He did the same thing with Trevor Lawrence.
He did. He knew they had the number 1 pick. He knew nobody was taking before them, so he did not care if other teams knew that they were taking Trayvon Walker. I know teams think differently, but I just didn't think it was, a smart move by Magic front office to just keep that a secret up until the hour before the draft, because, who knows? Maybe they get this monster trade package and, they don't end up with their guy. They ended up with their guy. I'm sure the Magic are happy with the outcome. I just thought it was a little bit weird, their whole strategy behind it. I thought AJ Griffin at 16 for the Hawks was a steal. I thought AJ Griffin's such a good player. He's a lights out shooter. He might be the best shooter in this entire draft. I thought him going at 15 was insulting to AJ Griffin. It's hard to say where a team or where a player should go in a draft, and especially a deep draft class like this is. It's hard to, have a range for, the mid-tier guys. But I thought AJ Griffin was a top 10 player easily, maybe even top 7 player in this draft. I thought he was that good. He was such a good shooter at Duke. I think that's a steal for the Hawks at 15 or 16. I think they got him at
16.
With them trading Kevin Huerter with DeAndre Hunter's future uncertain in Atlanta. I thought that was a great pickup for the Hawks. He's such a good complementary piece to DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. Just guys who benefit from having shooting around them. So I think that was a great steal for the Hawks. I think Tari Eason falling to 17 was a steal, especially in Summer League. He's shown that could be a good rotational piece for the Hawks or the Rockets, in the future.
I didn't really understand the Grizzlies trading up to take Jake LaRavia. I feel like we could have got him where we were. I feel like we had to trade up to get him.
All right, let's move on to Summer League. The draft, like we said, it was interesting, but it wasn't that interesting. There weren't a lot of trades. The most of the trades that happened were in the second round, and that's pretty much every year. People trade up in the second round. People trade down in the second round. It's just what's going to happen. But I think the Summer League most people don't like it. I think it's pretty exciting to see the new rookies come in and pretty much instantly after being drafted to come in and play for their new team in the Summer League to see how they play. I think the people who were most excited to see in an NBA uniform was Chet Holmgren. He obviously gets drafted number 2 to Oklahoma City, and people's widely considered concern has been his thin frame. Is he going to be able to play 15 plus years in the NBA? Will he stay healthy with that thin frame? So far in 3 games, he's averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2.5 steals, 2 blocks, shooting 46% from the field and 43% from 3.
He had a monster first game, by the way.
Monster first game. His numbers have been brought down. He's been slow the past couple of games, but the first game he had 23 points and he stuffed the stat sheet.
Kenny Lofton slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, Kenny Lofton is just Chet's kryptonite apparently. But I do think Chet will have a good NBA career. I don't think his thin frame is. I mean, it's obviously a concern, but I don't think it's such a big concern that he just won't have a good NBA career. I think he has. I think his skills make up for his thin frame. I think he has great defensive anticipation. I think he has the skill set to eventually develop into an all-defensive team guy. If you watch him, he just has such a nose for the basketball. He has such great defensive anticipation. He knows where somebody's going to go with the ball before they even do on the defensive side of the ball. I just think Chet would be a good player. I don't think his thin frame will get in the way of his NBA career. Yeah, he may have injuries that comes with being super skinny, but I just don't think it'll keep him from having a good NBA career. I think Chet's really good. I think he's going to be a monster in the NBA. Speaking of monsters, Paolo Banchero, my goodness. What a specimen this guy's been in the Summer League. I'm going to just read off his stats.
The 2 games he played. But
2 games he played. It does not matter. The Magic showed us they shut him down after the 2 games, rightfully so. He's been absolutely amazing. He averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.5 steals, 1 block, 40% from the field, 50% from 3 on 2 attempts per game in those 2 games. And if you watched him play, it's more the eye test than anything. He's such a bully down low in the post. None of those Summer League guys could hold Paolo Banchero. He was a monster in the post. He had even with the 6 assists per game stat, he was throwing dimes out there, even from the post. He has such good vision. Just a bully down low, such good vision for the wing position. He's probably going to play more 4, but he has such good vision coming into the NBA for a big guy. I think Paolo's going to be a beast. I think the Magic were right for taking him first overall. Not to say Jabari didn't deserve it, but I do think Paolo's going to be a good player. I don't think it was unjustified at all for him to go number 1. We're going to shift from being a beast to slow starts. We're talking about Jabari Smith Jr.
I haven't watched a lot of him, to be honest. I haven't watched a lot of Summer League, to be honest.
Most people haven't, but Jabari Smith has had a slow start to Summer League, which is expected out of rookies. Rookies aren't expected to come out and just dominate Summer League a month after being drafted. They're teenagers. He's averaging through the 4 games that he played, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block. He's shooting 40% from the field, 26% from 3 on 6 attempts. It's the shooting that he's having a slow start with. He's getting the volume that he should be getting, but he's just not, shooting well in that volume. 26% from 3, well below the NBA average. But it takes time for most guys to get accumulated with the NBA three-point line, shifting from the college three-point line. When you shoot from the NBA three-point line in college, it looks like you're shooting from Curry range. So having to shoot from that on a regular basis in the NBA, it's tough to get accustomed to. But you can make it, like, even with the slow shooting start, you can make a case. I talk about A.J. Griffin being the best shooter in the draft. You could make a case that Jabari Smith is the best shooter in the entire draft. His problem in college was that his guards at Auburn were horrible. They were horrible at setting up Jabari for shots. The offense that Bruce Pearl ran, his guards didn't do him any favors, but that offense was not good at setting up Jabari for shots. He still averaged, 17 points anyway?
Yeah.
It shows how good of a player he is. The highlights that I saw of him in the game film I saw of him, he's such a great hustler. He doesn't have the skill set on defense that, the other two that were taken before him, but I do think Jabari is like a great hustler on defense, and that sometimes that makes up for the skill. But he has, the drive and the desire on defense. And sometimes that's all you need on defense is just the desire and the will to play good defense. But adding on top of that he's an amazing shooter, I think Jabari Smith is going to be a great NBA player based on what we've seen in summer.
I think he'll fit really well alongside Jalen Green. And
yeah, that team's going to be fun to watch. At the very least, that team's going to be a great a great league pass team. But most of these young bad teams are going to be a good summer or a good league pass team. Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray has been the best rookie so far in the summer league. The eye test shows it, and the stats say it as well. Keegan Murray, in the 4 games that he played in summer league, he's averaging. Listen to these stats. These blew me away when I saw these. He's averaging 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, half a block. The defensive numbers aren't jumping out to the page. The shooting splits are what's jumping out to me. He's averaging 50% field goal, 40% from 3 on 9 attempts per game in 4 games. I know that's not a great sample size, but still, from a guy to come from college,
those are pretty solid numbers,
who averaged 40% from the college line on 5 attempts, he comes in to summer league and averages 40% from 3 on 9 attempts per game. I think it was like 9.5 even, nearly. That's amazing for a rookie. For a rookie big at that, to shoot that kind of percent at that kind of volume is phenomenal. And average that amount of points. And when you watch Keegan Murray play, he's such a fundamentally sound player, and that's rare to see coming from only a 2-year guy at Iowa. Mainly you see these underclassmen come in, they're very raw, much like, Chet Holmgren, Paulo, Jabari. Like, I've raved about those guys playing well. They're still very raw in their game, and understandably so. They only play 1 year at college. But Keegan Murray, even only playing 2 years as an underclassman, is so fundamentally sound. It was beautiful to watch his highlight tape when I was studying for this episode. It was very satisfying watching him play basketball, and that's a good sight to see. He's also quicker than you think he is. Like, especially on defense, he has great anticipation, and he's quicker than you think he is. And that'll help him on the defensive side of the ball. But he needs no help on the offensive side of the ball. He's so fundamental. He's such a great shooter. Keegan Murray, you can make a case that he probably could win Rookie of the Year. I think Paulo could be I think Paulo's a lock to win Rookie of the Year, but you can make a case that Keegan Murray could win Rookie of the Year. You could also make a case he can end up being the best player out of this draft. Who knows? I think Keegan Murray is that good.
Maybe the Kings didn't reach as much as you thought.
I talked about Jay Knivey's the better player over Keegan Murray. I just raved about Keegan Murray. I think he's such a great player. I love Keegan Murray. Yeah. And moving on to the consensus better player, I guess, Jay Knivey. Jay Knivey only played 2 games in Summer League, but he did.
Is there an injury there? I think I heard something about that.
I didn't hear anything about an injury.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I thought I heard he had an injury, but I could have.
When I watched Ivy's highlights from the Summer League, the comparisons coming out of college to John Morant were clear. He's such an explosive player. I saw a lot of John Morant and Jay Knivey in the Summer League games that I watched. He's so explosive, and he's your prototypical like modern day NBA guard. He is explosive as John Morant is. He can shoot the lights out of the basketball when he needs to. And he like his explosiveness makes him, a threat on the defensive side of the ball. He's an asset on the defense. He, can get to his spot quick. He's a quick player. So I think I'm raving about how I think all these guys are going to be good. But I think Jay Knivey showed even in 2 games that he's going to be a good NBA player. He's quick enough. He's explosive enough. And like I said, he's your prototypical NBA guard. So this draft was so deep. It was so stacked. I think it's hard to say any team had a bad draft, except for the Knicks. The Knicks sucked in this draft.
Mainly because they were trading everything to give Jalen Brunson his money.
Yeah, they did trade for future assets in that trade with the Thunder. They traded the rights to Ousmane Deng to the Thunder, and the Thunder gave them, future draft assets. Yeah, they trade the number 11 overall pick rights to Ousmane Deng to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's what you just said. Yeah,
I think the Thunder traded like 3 picks for that draft, or for that draft.
It was 2 or 3. It was 2 or 3.
And the Thunder are trying to just build the lankiest, longest team in existence with Chet Holmgren, with Ousmane Deng, with
The
Josh
Thunder are
Giddey,
still very
Poku
well set
Zetsky.
with draft picks, though.
The Thunder are, if they can execute on those draft picks, which I think it's hard to do when you have 87 of them, which are hard not to do.
They just have to hit on enough of them. They don't have to hit on all of them.
Even 2 out of like the million that they have, it's going to be hard not to, especially with Sam Presti, who's very good at drafting. So yeah, man, I think this the summer league's been great to watch, especially the top 5 picks. They've been a joy to watch. The draft was up and down, interesting, not interesting, but I think this NBA offseason has been good. We still don't know anything about like what's going to happen to KD, what's going to happen to Kyrie. There's still more for us to see in this NBA offseason, and we will talk about it when it happens. That being said, we appreciate you guys watching this episode. We appreciate you guys listening as well. Like I said before, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you can know when we drop a new episode. Again, we appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back next Tuesday. We'll see you guys later.